introduce the topic?
Yeah. Oh, good morning, everyone, and welcome to the Sweaty Truth.
Is it actually on live?
We are.
Okay, so this is the same problem I had last time. I never can tell when we're actually live. Okay, sorry.
That's great. So good morning, everyone.
Leslie, are we recording?
Oh yeah, I'm recording.
No. Can you hit recording on your end?
Yeah, just bear with us. We're still learning. We're still figuring this out.
I don't have the recording option.
I'll get it.
Yeah, I think you have to do it. Sorry, guys. Third time's
recording. Okay, we're good.
Okay. So let's try this again. Good morning, everyone, and thank you for joining us. If you're here live, maybe it's going to be good afternoon or good evening, but thank you very much for joining us live this morning on the Sweaty Truth. We just have kind of open conversations amongst the three of us, things that we're feeling, things that we're going through, and things that we want to share with you guys. Sometimes we're going to have facts. Sometimes we're going to have, actual statistical conversations, but sometimes it's just going to be real, authentic, and vulnerable, and just sharing from the heart. And that's kind of what is going to happen on today's conversation as we dive into faith, religion, and church. What does that mean for you? What kind of feelings does that bring up for you? What have you experienced? I think I was the one that asked to have this conversation. I'll just kind of give a little backstory just because lately, recently throughout all this, the last couple months, I've kind of been exploring the faith a little bit more and what that really means to me. And what I've been exploring more is back to God, really. I've been curious about. I've noticed a lot of the accounts I follow, a lot of the awoke accounts I follow, they all have a very strong Christian background, and a lot of the stuff they post has been resonating with me, and they just seem so calm and at peace and aware. So I've just been very curious. I grew up in the Catholic Church, went to Catholic elementary and high school, a little bit of Bible Sundays, and it just never really resonated with me. In fact, my teachers growing up were just the worst people, the worst. And it's just nothing about it felt accepting, nothing about it felt inclusive. It just felt like a lot of negativity was around it, a lot of just basically you're just a bad person. Oh, you're bad to do this, you're bad to do this. It never really dove into anything goodness. That's my experience. I'm not saying this is not generalizing. I'm just saying what it felt for me. And I just closed a hard door to anything church, God related. I was like, I don't want rules. I don't want those restrictions. I just don't want that. I don't know. Leslie and Miriam know how strong I feel about this actually.
Yeah.
Just from that one event that we had.
So yeah, we were at an event. So you'll notice we all have different personalities, and Kristen, when she gets behind something or has a belief, you're going to hear it. And so someone started talking about church, and Kristen was like, no, and really went kind of hardcore. No, don't preach it to me. But here's what's really interesting. I just wanted to back up just a little bit and share about the conversation today is that the way we process, I think the way that we put our ideas together, the way our spirit comes out is that we actually talk it out. And so again, I just want to remind anyone that's listening or tuning in, we're talking this out. We have not come to a conclusion. This is us connecting and sharing ideas, and you get to participate in this. So you get to have your, put your curious comments in and be part of this conversation. And so one of the things I think is really cool, Kristen, is what you've realized is that you viewed something, you had a child trauma, a small trauma. It's not like you were, you weren't abused or anything like that, but you had a trauma that gave you a negative lens. It gave you a set of sunglasses to say religion, spirituality, Christianity, church is this. Because your child self was not accepted. You weren't able to express yourself. You weren't able to ask open-ended questions. You were shut down and smothered and preached upon, and it didn't serve you as a child. And so you have these sunglasses on that you've worn for a really long time just to shun anything that had to do with God or Jesus or Christianity. But now through your life experience, you've also realized that like sometimes we have to go back and question, what did I believe, and what do I believe, and what do I believe today? Because we are always growing and expanding and changing, and we also get to change and question what we believe. And one of two things can happen. You can choose a new belief, or it can reinforce your current belief, and all of that's okay. But it's important to take time sometimes to say, what do I believe?
Absolutely. And I think one of the biggest things I've realized is when I've been kind of exploring it is like, I kind of blanketed all religions the same as Catholicism. So to me, like anything religion was just like Catholicism. Like Christianity was exactly the same as Catholicism. I was like, nope, just want nothing to do with it. So that's been very fascinating to me the last little month, is uncovering the difference. And something that a couple people have said to me recently that is like really that's resonated is just that the belief is greater than the religion. It's a personal belief. It's a personal relationship. It's not the religion. And I was like, okay, well, that's really interesting. Miriam, we kind of like just very quickly before this talk last week, I kind of asked you like, where are you on like a spiritual faith journey? And you kind of seemed a little bit similar to me a little bit. If you want.
Yeah, definitely. So I grew up not going to Catholic school, but in the Catholic family. I mean, it's Europe. So I when I moved here, I was like, whoa, religion, and it's like 20 years behind Europe. Like here, everyone goes to church. There's churches everywhere. It's like, to me, almost was like, oh, this almost like a sect. When I moved here, that was my impression, because everyone was talking about religion. Where back home, churches were deserted. Like it was starting to people not going there, and then kind of like distancing from religion. But I did in my family, my grandmother was very religious Catholic. We went to public school, but like Bible schools on Sundays. But fairly quickly, we kind of did not want to go. I know it was boring, or I don't know. Like as a teenager, we just kind of stopped. So I've heard, I mean, I have that background, but I'm being distant. I've not gone to church. Maybe Christmas, and perhaps I don't know how many times I went to church here in Canada. But I do have, I don't know. I'm also kind of like, I'm not as extreme as you are, but I've been questioning, and I've been questioning. What I've been questioning is to like, with Leslie, we've been going to an ashram, and that's a different religion, and there are things that I'm attracted, that I don't know, that are connecting with, but there's other that I'm not. And so I've been questioning like I've been questioning for sure, like what do I need, what do I want, and is that okay to pick a little bit from everywhere, or like I've definitely been and the same as you, recently was this whole thing going on. I've noticed a lot of people were there and seem to be in a better, more calm place when they have some sort of faith in something. Definitely noticed that a lot, and that has also brought some questions. But I haven't take the time or had the time to dig as deep as you have. So that's something definitely that's kind of been sitting with me for a while that I definitely want to.
Yeah. And for me, religion has always been like faith, spirituality. I think I was like grade 8, and you had to get confirmed to the church or something. I don't even remember exactly what it was. And I was like, I don't want to do this, Mom. I don't want to do this. I didn't like to do anything that was forced. And my mom was like, just do it, because then you can get married in the church for free. And I was just, I was a teenager, and it was that phase of rejecting what I grew up with. But what's interesting is going on that journey where you reject something and you uncover what's true to you, brought me back to what I grew up with. However, like, as you guys know me, I've been to a Jehovah's Witness church. I have been to every form of church that I can be accepted in, and the doors open for me to enter. Lived in an ashram, and I love studying Egyptian mythology and Hinduism, different forms of spirituality. And what I really, really believe is like, it's like our hand. There's different forms, and some seem so different from each other. Like the thumb seems so different than the pinky finger, but they all actually lead to the same thing. But when you stay in the superficial form, so like I think of religion and I think of rules. And if you only follow the rules, you're staying at the tips of the fingers. But if you keep questioning the rules and you keep going deeper and deeper, you come to the palm of your hand, and it's all the same. It's all love at the end of the day. But we have to question the tips of the fingers. Otherwise, if we don't question it, if you don't take time to even reject it, you may not go as deep as you can to really uncover the truth. And I also believe that whatever you call God or whatever you call your spirit, it's infinite. Every religion says that God is infinite, or whatever the faith is infinite. However, if you think of infinity, think of the biggest possible number that goes infinitely, like I think pi goes infinitely long, right? So our brains can't conceive infinity. You can't even imagine a number that's infinite. And therefore, we have to choose symbols to represent infinity. We have to have symbols to represent infinite love, because we as humans cannot comprehend it. And I think this is what creates the great divide, because we're arguing about infinity. But that being said, I believe it should be curious questioning. And if we could possibly all understand that none of us know the truth, but you can experience the truth, you can feel the truth, because we've all had moments where we have felt complete love in a moment. And that is what, to me, that is what the truth is.
It's interesting. As you were, I completely forgot about this, but as you were talking about this, Leslie, and I love the hands that you did that. I read a book a few years ago that I actually got for my wedding from my aunt, whose husband is very religious, and she's like, Kristen, just I don't want to hear nothing about this. It's called The Soul of the World. It's in French. It's a philosopher who wrote that, but the story is very interesting. This is it's 5 or 6 different person throughout the world from different religion, like a philosopher, I'm saying that wrongly with the accent, but a guy who does philosophy lady, a Jewish, a priest, a Muslim, like very high ranked and wise person, but in different religion, and they're all called together. They have different signals, and they all go to Tibet in monastery. And they don't know why, but at the end, they feel that something drastic is going to happen to the world. And they have those 2 very young children, one from the Western world, one from the monastery. And they find that at the end, they have to teach them or share with them the 7 most important rules to save the world. And so it's very interesting, because they talk about different religion, and at first they do not think they have anything in common. But at the end, they're realizing that all religion are able to put those 7 so important things that are common to all the religion and are common to all the human, and that's who are going to save the world, and have to share with those kids. And so that's exactly what you're talking about. At the end, we're all like, if you're looking for the in-depths of the religion, it's all about love and those very important value that make us better humans. And I don't know. Yeah. So it's,
what is the book called? Do you remember?
L'âme du monde, the soul of the world. I'll look it up. I'll put it in the comments, because it's a philosopher who wrote lots of books.
Okay. I just put it in the comments right now. So we are checking in to see that you're watching, that you're listening. And if you have any questions, I'm trying to follow along as well. So hello to everyone that's on right now. And okay, so I want to just come back to, so one of the things that we've been talking about too is like, so with faith, with spirituality, with religion, with, you know, that let's just put it as a bubble so we can like talk about it as a thing, even though it permeates everything within us. Kristen, you were kind of questioning, like, do I need to return to faith to have strength and calmness in this time period of our lives that is so uncertain?
Well, yeah. And I've always had faith. Like when I said like no to the Catholic Church and walked away, I always still believed there was like, you know, a creator, like there's still something way bigger than us. Like, you know, and the words that I used to describe it have always changed. You know, it started as God, and then for whatever reason I wanted to move away from that wording, you know, then it became, you know, the universe or source or spirit or Gaia and all these things. And I explored it within nature, and that is something that I always felt like so connected to. Like nature just holds all the answers, and I feel it in nature. But then I kind of realized I was like, but it's bigger than nature because it was someone created nature. Anyways, I'm just talking for myself right now, so the girls are just listening.
Yeah.
And so I still believe there isn't, you know, like more. And I was like, okay, well, what was that? Then I explored energy. Totally believe in energy, that we are just radiating energy to one each other. And I believe in like Reiki and energy work and energy healing and things like that. Like I do. I love like, you know, card pulling. To me, it's just fun though. It's just fun. I don't think I get anything but by it, but I think that's kind of just, you know, something fun to do, and then see what your body and heart wants to tell you, because that's what it is, right? When you pull a card, it's like you're just like pulling something and you read it, and it's like just kind of like, what is your heart trying to say to you, or someone else? I don't know. So yeah, I've dove into a lot of different things. I've looked into kind of world religions, and same with Miriam. I picked different things and kind of made my own. And I was like, you know, it's just about being a good person, like coming from a place of love and having love and knowing that, you know, there's like a greater universe or someone out there working for you and all these things. But lately I have found that it just, for me, it hasn't been enough. I haven't been able to ground in that enough. I haven't been able to really have it as a concrete foundation, I guess, where it's very firm and concrete in my heart or in my soul or my body. So for me, there's still an aspect missing. And I think that aspect for me is because I pushed something away so hard. Like I closed that door very hard. And like that woman at that event, I think she was trying to say that it was something, you know, I don't know what we were talking about or what we had on our table, but she felt the need to just tell us that, like, I don't know, we were talking about holistic
because
health.
we were talking about how when moms live with peace and purpose, they lead with their hearts. They teach their children to lead with their hearts and change the world. We were sharing our mission with this woman, and then she was like, no, it's only God that can change the world, and it's Jesus. And it's like, and she went hard. And I was like, you know, I'm a little bit more like, oh, I'm listening. And Kristen, you were like, no, like you came in like I don't know, some kind of animal diving in.
I came back just as hard as she came on to us. So what I have uncovered about myself, and Leslie will say this in her own experience and teachings, but definitely what I've uncovered in myself is things that trigger me so much mean something. And they're the things that I need to dive into and to really learn about why why has that triggered me so much all these years? Why, when I would hear the word church, just make me cringe and like make me angry? Like I was like angry about with that lady. And so I've noticed with myself that when I am triggered that deeply, I need to look into it. I need to observe it. I need to feel it. I need to question it. I need to maybe even heal it. But I need to go into it. Like I need to go into that anger. I need to go into that triggering. I need to go back to it and figure out why. So in the last couple weeks, mostly, but last month, I've been reaching out to friends. I've been doing some of my own work, and I've been kind of really exploring that. And I think for me, I still have a lot of work to do. So this is all very new, and I'm just still working through it. I think for me, I closed off a relationship is what I meant to say. I closed off like an actual relationship where I could make it foundational and feel it in my body and have that concrete belief where, you know, I can come back to and feel grounded. and and that relationship can be different for everyone, of course, and it is different for everyone, and everyone else has their own personal relationship, as you do in your own life with everything. So I think I'm just trying to work out my own relationship right now, and what that looks like and what that means. But yeah, so I found with anything that we do, whenever you're triggered, lean into the discomfort, Leslie's words, lean into the discomfort and find out why it triggers you so much.
And I think what like so many people do, like this is such a good like life lesson for all of us, and like myself included. I specifically can think of examples where I, what I do is I create boundaries. I'm like, there's a boundary, like just don't talk about, like Justin, if he talks too much about the future, I'm like, no, I can't handle it. Like there's a boundary, I don't want to go there. But really, like anytime we want to set up these, a boundary should be fluid. A boundary should be something.
Set up a wall.
When you set up a wall, that's like saying, like your heart is making that wall for a reason. It's protecting you from reliving the pain from the past. But all that does is you do end up being in pain. It's not a win-win. And like exactly that, like there's healing, there's exploration, there's something that is ready to shift in you when there's a huge wall, and because you're hitting your head on the wall. It's not a fluid boundary. That's more like, boundaries are more like bubbles that kind of keep you safe, and you can move through life and enjoy it. But the walls hurt.
You can't grow.
Yeah. So one of the things that we do love to do is on our Creating Clarity calls that we offer to our community, to busy moms that are doing it all. If you're feeling like you're hitting a wall and like you don't know what's creating the wall, because often our subconscious mind again protects us, so you don't even know why you have the wall in the first place. That's usually the issue. So then you don't know what you have to explore because you don't know why it's there. And that's one of the things that we love to do with women, is help them to see the wall and then uncover what is actually creating this fear and this pain in your life, so that you can again shift the wall more to like a boundary, so you can actually live more freely, and you can live more abundantly, and you can live with more love, and you can also get along with more people.
I picture like when you're saying, I picture when you're saying that, like a boundary is just like, like putting down the tape. Like, I don't know, you do this when like you're younger, put down the tape, be like, no, like your brother or sister, you have to stay on that side of the tape and I'm staying on this side or something, like a boundary is just putting down the tape versus a wall where no one can climb over. The tape is there, you see the line, you can still move across it, but the wall is, so it's amazing to be able to connect with a lot of people in the Creating Clarity calls. And I know during those calls, a lot of truth comes out for us too, which is great. Oh, is there a comment there?
I was just reading some of the comments. So Jen is just sharing that the church that she attends is like-minded people, and it's spiritual but not religious. And Jessa is saying, description, The Soul of the World is a 2014 book by an English philosopher, Roger Scruton. I'm terrible at reading out loud, sorry guys. In which the author argues for the reality of a transcended dimension and maintains that the experience of the sacred plays a decisive role even in a secular society. Got to digest what that is. Cool.
Yeah. We'll go back in the comments and reread it.
Yeah.
So, so anyways, I know I like having these conversations with the three of us, because I found like us working together, we just continue to learn and feed off each other. And it's amazing to be able to have these vulnerable conversations with each other and just listen and accept and understand, and really just kind of encourage each other on like the path that we're on. And it's awesome. Leslie, like you've kind of used this line before, like sometimes you'll know kind of like what it should look like, the people coming around, you're like, but I'm just going to let you like get there yourself kind of thing. But I just love how you encourage people always to kind of like, go on your journey, like figure it out, like kind of explore and observe it all, and then see where it takes you. But what was I going to say? Just I think with the three of us, it's awesome because we're all very different. We're all on very different paths, but I think that's what brings us, like makes us so special working together, is our different backgrounds and beliefs and understandings, but like acceptance of it, and where we are. And Leslie, you've been, from all the work you've done, like you are very anchored in where you're at in your belief, and I think that's why we call you our spiritual leader.
But you know what? The truth is it does waver. It really does. But I'm okay with it wavering because that's when I learn more. And I can, again, there's certain things I throw out and there's certain things I keep, and it's always evolving. Like there was definitely a time when I was pregnant and vomiting constantly and I couldn't eat a vegetable to save my life. I was like, F meditation, F all the spiritual garbage. None of it's true, because I was in so much pain and I didn't feel like I couldn't find my center. And so I just assumed that this is all garbage. And I needed a lot of support after. Like I saw Cheryl Arts, she's Willow Roots, and she does alchemical healing. And we had to do a lot of journeying to heal some of the it's a relationship. And there's, I broke up with my relationship with the spirit because I was angry. But that's okay. Like that's part of the journey and that's part of like the testing. And I do think that if we reject all spirituality, if we reject all religion, if you reject everything, you're missing out on a really huge, important piece. And if you look at science has rules to follow to stay science. If you're doing a scientific experiment, there are rules and regulations for it to be considered a scientific experiment. Just like there are rules and regulations to be considered a Catholic church. And there's rules and regulations to be considered a monastery. And there's rules and regulations to be for Judaism. And there's rules and regulations for Hinduism. So science is also a religion because there's rules and regulations. And so I encourage everyone and anyone to actually, it's okay to question it. And you might leave it for a second, but you might come back to it even stronger than you've ever been before. And like, that's cool. It's all cool.
I think that brings up a whole other topic that we'll have to have is science and religion. Science is a religion. Question the science, people. The science is never settled.
Like we haven't even decided what gravity is. It's not settled. Like it's not determined yet. We don't actually understand what creates gravity. We don't know.
Germ theory is not settled.
So the same as with our relationship.
Talking about faith and religion. But oh geez, there was something I wanted to end on. I've been, what I've been referring a lot to recently is back at the beginning, let's say for audio book club, when I was like a part of it with you guys at the beginning, you guys chose The Shack. And the beginning of the book was quite rough, but I loved that book. I think for me, like listening to it, I was like, it just made so much more sense to me. A God that I was like, I can understand that kind of relationship with God. I can get that. Like it just the way it was explained to me, I was like, I get it. Like it just made so much more sense. It's really interesting too. This kind of brings up, I know we're probably running out of time, but just relationships in general. So that book, The Shack, I need to go back to because I remember really liking it and really thinking like, trying to ask like Chris, like, can you listen to it too? Like, I think maybe this is something that we can both like understand and maybe get behind and learn about. And it's like, no. So I was like, okay. So I kind of put it aside, never looked at it again. But when you mentioned relationships, I think that's what I'm kind of diving in now is like relationship with God and what God means. And I think it means something different than what I thought it did as a child. But on another note, just as a funny humor, so the way relationships start. So Chris and I, when we were first dating, I remember standing at my old Toronto apartment in a bus shelter, wearing our Toronto Maple Leaf jerseys, heading to a hockey game. I started to talk to him about a book I finished called Cain and Abel, and I loved it. It was awesome. I think it was about two estranged like brothers, and they both lived very different lives, and then came back or something. I don't even remember, but I remember it being really good. But he first like looked at me like, and I was like, oh no, don't worry, like it has nothing to do with the Bible. It's a fictional story. And he looks at me, he's like, oh my God, I'm gonna be one of those weird ones. So that was like how kind of came together. We're like, we're on the same page here, get it. So I think it is really good to kind of keep conversations open and be open-minded and just trying to figure it out even within your own relationship. So it's something that we're going to have to continue exploring. But I've been thinking that story is kind of funny to come back to about.
Yeah. But you know what, like I know we're running out of time, but like it really highlights something though too, is like that interaction that you and Chris had about religion is the same interaction we have with ourselves. Because we're always seeking, like what our mind is truly like, there's two parts of our mind. There's like your spirit will seek difference and will seek change and will seek to grow and expand, but your mind will seek concrete evidence that matches its current understanding. So in the moment, like Chris is seeking for you to understand and believe the same thing that he believes, because that's what the mind, but his soul would have fallen in love with you because you're actually different, and that would actually give him space to grow and to learn. And so the same thing is like with ourselves when we meet something. And we can get really fired up when something doesn't match because it's scary.
Yes, you guys have seen me do that on many occasions.
Yeah.
My fiery Aries might come out more than once or twice.
But you know what? Some of my all of my best relationships have come. I think of my friend, I actually call her Audrey. It's not even her name, but we gave each other little like spiritual names. So her name's Audrey, and I lived with her, and she's a brilliant lawyer. She's running for like Senate in the States. Like she's so intelligent, and she's very, very Christian based. And we moved into this house together, didn't know each other, and we're standing in the living room having our first conversation, and it turns into a spiritual versus religion conversation. And I've got sweat dripping down my leg because I'm so nervous during this conversation, and my armpits are dripping sweat. And I was like, don't move because I don't want the sweat to touch my clothes, so she knows I'm sweating so much. It was such a challenging conversation because I knew what I believed, but she's very intellectual. But what's really cool is like we have this amazing relationship and we learn from each other and we keep reaffirming our own belief, and they are different, but it's awesome. Like, and it just keeps happening, and we feel like we keep growing, and it's such a wonderful relationship. And I no longer sweat when we talk.
That's awesome.
But yeah, there's just another level of being sweaty and successful. It's like you're okay to sweat through conversations.
Yeah. And would you say, Leslie, like have you kind of created your own faith and belief, right? Would you kind of say that's like true what you follow and know into your heart? And you've used this quote before, like I think I've heard you say God, but I think you refer to it in a different sense. Like you've had this like your life mantra, I think even.
Well, my life mantra is to see God in everything and everyone, and to serve others. That's like, when I have to go back with like, why am I living? Why am I doing what I'm doing? I always have to return to like, I'm here to see God in everything and everyone and to serve others. But I actually see all religion as like the base of a pyramid, but it's an inverted pyramid. And if you follow the pyramid down, there's a tip. And I'm seeking for that tip, for that like ultimate truth. I may never find it in this lifetime, but like, I feel like I've tasted it. So
I think it's really cool. I've always loved that mantra like that you have. I think it's really beautiful. I think it's a good one to live by. Yeah, I don't know. So we're just kind of having an open conversation here with everyone. I think we're all on very different journeys, and I'm going to keep exploring my relationship and figure out, those negative feelings, and maybe create a new relationship, and maybe have some kind of more like a concrete foundational grounded belief, and who knows what that will look like or feel like. But I've been very excited about the conversations I've been having with people, and very excited about the things I'm exploring, the things I'm learning, and learning about myself. So kind of keep diving into that uncomfortableness and figuring out what that means, and see what it comes out with for myself. So I'm excited to be on this kind of new journey, spiritual journey of and see where it takes me. And then I think Miriam, you were kind of interested, same thing, kind of come along and see what that looks like. You're just kind of open as well, just like we don't know where it's going to take us, but you're just kind of open, see what happens.
Yes, I like the idea of finding the tip, Leslie. I really like that.
Yeah.
No conflict. We're all thinking for the same thing, which is yes.
Just the tip.
Yeah. That's why you're searching for it. Yeah, that's cool.
Inverted tip.
Well, it's probably a good
I
way
don't
to end
know.
up.
Yeah. So if you're someone that's feeling like you have the boundary is a wall and you don't know why you have the wall and why you feel the way you feel, comment wall or like tear down the wall, and then we know we can reach out and we'll connect with you so that you can have a creating clarity call so you can shift some things and find more of the pyramid tip.
Yeah, I know that everyone's welcome because we're all from different backgrounds and experiences, and so we're even just open to learning and just being, connected with everyone. So yeah, I think what should we comment down there? We need people to write something down there. Comment.
Okay, well, right now we've got hashtag just the tip. We've got best takeaway, some laughing about germ theory, but then just some things like Jen says that she finds the United Church to be in Christchurch of Canada to be far more relaxed. So she's giving some recommendations for that, which is awesome. For pressure for people to listen, to learn, and to find out what makes sense for them.
Yeah. I know, because that's a whole other thing. I just realized I didn't even use the word like God. I'm starting to get more comfortable using, but for whatever reason, even like Jesus, I don't know why that always made me so uncomfortable. So that's like another thing I'm going to dive into and figure out why. So that's a whole other exploration that I'm going to.
Yeah.
I don't know why, like hearing them together.
Oh, you just muted yourself.
Hearing those words together kind of again creates that very uncomfortable feeling. So I'm diving into those as well. I don't know where I'm going to come out of it, but I'm diving into both of those relationships, like God, Jesus, and figuring out what that means, just because I am so uncomfortable with it. So why? So yes, open recommendations. Hopefully we can connect with you guys on creating clarity calls. If you have that wall and you want to break down that wall, we are very good about breaking down walls. We do it with each other, we do it with ourselves. Love to help you break down some walls. So I think if you want us to reach out to you, if you want to have a conversation, if you want to just connect, just write down faith in the comments. So I think we'll just stick with faith. And yeah, so write down faith.
And then we need to give some heart work. What is that? We're ending in like a challenge. What is the? Oh, this is a hard one.
Geez, yeah, we weren't prepared. Something to look into. How about did we do water yet? I guess that's a hard one to look into. Well, not really.
No. Learning about your water supply.
Yeah. Fluoride. What about fluoride? Fluoride.
Okay, we might need some good resources though for that. So if you want to learn more about fluoride, pop into the Sweaty Successful Mom Facebook group.
Yeah.
And we'll post some really great resources about fluoride and the history of fluoride. And maybe I can even find some stuff about the dental industry and fluoride, because there's some hidden truths there. Yeah. So
yeah, I think that just popped in my head. I finished watching The Devil We Know, learning about DuPont and what they have done to our water. Oh God, they're evil. That's a whole other conversation. So pop over to our Facebook group where we can continue having this conversation about DuPont, C8, Gen X, and fluoride.
Yeah.
All these things.
And if you want to make sure that you are staying up to date with when we're hosting the podcast live, definitely go to sweatysuccessfulmoms.com and make sure you sign up for our email list, because that is really the only place that we keep you up to date about when these are happening. You'll usually find out about it.
I did post it on Instagram this time.
Okay. Yeah. So Instagram, but definitely sign up for our newsletter so you get the first dibs. Also, because like our retreat, for example, like that's sold out in a couple days. So if you're getting the emails for it, then you're getting first dibs on those. I had one other thing. Oh, so next week we're going to talk. Are we going to talk about
programming and conditioning?
Programming and conditioning. So how has your mind been programmed and conditioned to believe and act in certain ways that you are not even aware of? That's going to be a fun, sweaty truth.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we also think we're open to recommendations that we're going to like kind of mix this up. We're going to do like really heavy, deep, serious topics, and then maybe some like more lighthearted topics. And we're going to maybe like alternate between the two. So the sweaty truth is also fun truths. too, not just the deep in the dark stuff. So any recommendations, we're open. And if you want to come and join us on one of our calls, please do. We love having other people come in and join the conversation. And thanks to everyone that watched and commented and participated. And let's keep the conversation rolling and pop into the Sweaty Success alum group for your challenge.
Yes, absolutely. Thanks everyone for joining in and listening to us have raw and authentic conversation about this as we continue to learn ourselves. Hope everyone has a wonderful day, and we'll see some of you at the retreat on Sunday, and we'll touch back in next week with you guys in the next Sweaty Truth.
Okay, bye.
Bye.
It's gonna take me a second to hang up. Oh, I'm not even sure. Not even sure.
Oh, boy. Okay.
I don't know.
Can I leave? Or are you still going to be?
Yeah, you can leave. Yeah, I'm ending it now. I found it.